Now, we are staying with that breaking news announced by President Trump that both Hamas and Israel have signed off the first phase of his peace plan. The president said in the statement on Truth Social that he believes this will mean the release of all the hostages very soon, with Israel withdrawing their troops to an agreed upon line as the first steps towards a strong, durable and everlasting peace. Lots of you getting in touch on this, actually. Catherine describes it as incredible news. I feel more emotional than I'd have expected, with desperate hope for the hostages and their loved ones. Let's talk to Matthew Bartlett, who's a Republican strategist and worked at the State Department during President Trump's first term in office. Good evening. Good morning to you from London. Good evening where you are, Matthew.
Yeah, Kara, good evening. I am about a block away from the White House right now, and this town, and maybe this world, is, just waiting right now in astonishment, maybe in excitement, maybe with a degree of skepticism, but hoping that this direction around not just a ceasefire, but a lasting peace in the Middle East can maybe actually be achieved in the very near future.
And just to have reached this stage, as you were referring there, we've just got this statement from the US president, and we've also had Benjamin Netanyahu responding tonight. He has said, we will bring them all home. With God's help, we will bring them all home. This is a reference, of course, to the Israeli hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. And just reaching this point is a hugely significant achievement by the US president, isn't it?
You can't overstate just how significant this is. This has been 2 years, starting with a horrific terrorist attack in Israel, then, a massive invasion and war where innocent lives have suffered on both sides. So to now hopefully put that down and to now start talking about peace. War is sometimes easy. Peace is very difficult. So we are now negotiating the final stages, we, the world, right now. And again, nothing is done until everything is done. But right now, this is a massive moment, a crescendo moment in the Middle East, where a united Arab front is telling Hamas to put down their weapons, to release the hostages, and to get out. And you could then have a provisional government in Palestine for the people of Gaza to hopefully live in peace in the region and have shared prosperity in the global world.
I'm just seeing a statement in the last few moments from Hamas. It has released this statement saying that it's agreed to the proposals with the aim of reaching an end to what it calls the war of extermination against our Palestinian people and the occupation's withdrawal from the Gaza Strip. The group says, we highly appreciate the efforts of our mediating brothers in Qatar, Egypt and Turkey. We also value the efforts of US President Donald Trump, who seek to bring about a definitive end to the war and a complete withdrawal of the occupation from the Gaza Strip. The statement from Hamas then calls on President Trump and other nations to compel what it calls the occupation government to fully implement the agreement's requirements and not allow it to evade or delay the implementation of what has been agreed upon. So that is the statement that we've had out from Hamas, clearly confirming that they have now agreed to this first phase, but making it clear that they do want to move to the further stages, which will see the withdrawal of Israeli troops. We are just at the very, very early stages of this. But Matthew, clearly there are still many, many important steps to go if this 20-point plan is to be fully implemented.
Yeah, that's clear. And that involves Hamas leaving Gaza, getting out. They will go into exile, possibly to Turkey. I think, like you just said, the neighbors in the region have been exceptional mediators. And so much credit goes to President Trump and to Steve Witkoff, his special envoy, who, again, had the trust where there is so much distrust, even hatred, generations between Israel Hamas, Qatar. Steve Witkoff has helped broker this. We are at a point now where, again, Hamas will leave. You will see a coalition of Arab troops on the ground, peacekeeping troops on the ground, and again, set up, something of a new government that will allow peace and prosperity for all. So this could really be a new day in the region.
And a key element of reaching this stage has clearly been President Trump's relationship with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And it's clear that the US president really did have to put some pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu to agree to this. And as we were hearing from the Israeli spokesperson at the United Nations, Israel has also had to make concessions to get to this point. Not least, as we will presumably see in the next few days, the release of Palestinian prisoners.
Carol, you are correct. President Trump has not, you saw Israel's errant strike on Qatari soil against Hamas. And President Trump was clear, was emphatic, told them to publicly apologize, which they did. You saw when Hamas responded to President Trump in the affirmative, but with a very big but. Israel did not want to accept that. Yet it was President Trump in open source reporting that told them that we are going to pursue this. So yes, you've seen leverage there. You've also seen the president's close relation with the Emir in Qatar, with so many, Saudi Arabia, with Erdogan, leaning in on his personal relationships. You think back to that trip to the region when he first came back into power, and now utilizing these relationships in order to propel this peace deal, which may come to fruition.
Matthew Bartlett, Republican strategist who was at the State Department during President Trump's first term in office. Thank you so much for joining us with your thoughts there. Thank you.
Carol, thank you. We hope for better days.
I'm sure everyone will be hoping very much that this is just the start of some better days for the whole region. Gareth's got in touch. He says, I think bringing all the hostages back will be difficult. Hamas, he says, are a ragtag of various tribal gangs. Half of them won't know what the rest of them are doing. They couldn't plan their way out of a paper bag, he says. Well, we have had that statement from Hamas tonight, making it clear that they agree to this first stage of the plan and asking the US president and others to ensure that the further stages are fulfilled. More of this to come here on Times Radio.